So here's the next part of our discussion.
Again, they're white from New York, like Indian girl. So they did a lot. My mom would take me to like Indian festival. It was very part. It's really, we were just discussing this, Karina, before you came on, about how we don't like to be introduced as the adopted one, right? So my
Oh, I never do that. I never do that.
I remember saying, like, my parents are my parents. They never say this is my adopted child, right? They never ever do that. They're like, this is Rachel, this is our child, and I never refer to them as my adopted parents. When I introduce them, I say, this is my parents. And so there's never that, and I'm not saying you're doing, but there's never that divide for that child to feel outside that circle. They understand, because they already feel outside of a circle. That's the reality of it. They already feel that, and they continue to feel that way the rest of their lives. That's the reality.
And this is the sorry.
There are ways to make them feel more included, to make them. And if you ever want to talk about it, please, Jonathan has my information. Please feel free to reach out. This is something I'm very passionate about. I'm very passionate about helping.
Yeah, I would love to, because I do want to have the insight of an adoptee, so I know what to tell him, when to tell him, because I know he will have loads of questions, more so as he grows up. And the last thing I want is for him to not feel included or part of, like, I want him to be 100% sure that no matter what he does, no matter what happens, first of all, it's us, our family, and our love for him. And from there, we build up, we find solutions, we go further.
So, Zen, your description of finding yourself, your inner self. So, Rachel and I both resonate with this book in feeling othered. And that's something that's consistently played a feature in my life. Was your spiritual awakening, hello Shirin, was your spiritual awakening your way of othering because of your adoption? I'm just speculating.
Interesting question, and in part possibly framed by because the question that I had that produced the awakening wasn't related to the adoption. It was just related to my connection to everything.
Right.
And I didn't really feel othered because of the adoption. I felt othered because I was different, not from an adoption standpoint, from a psychospiritual and social standpoint. I could go anywhere, make friends with anyone. My intelligence was off the charts. I had all kinds of questions that people couldn't answer, and I'd piss teachers off in the process. So there was that side of things, and even to the point where my adoptive parents, who were very intelligent people, mom was an English and lit teacher, dad was a 32nd degree Mason and tool and die maker. But I got to the place in my own development where I had questions and experiences and understanding, and I'd want to talk to them about it, and I couldn't because they had no direct experience of it. And so later in life, I learned that, you got to have something, a foundation from which to observe and report from. And if you don't have that, then it's hard to drag people into that place, right? Because they just go there.
You said something so other. That is powerful, because that's how many adoptees feel. The other choice, the other, that other child. It's very powerful.
It is very powerful. Well, it's very interesting because my brother, who's 5 years older, his disdain for me is quite violent, and he rejected both our mother and me a hard pass all through his life. And I only found out 2 weeks ago, speaking to my dad, who's now 87, and when people get old, they start telling you more truth. And now I know that the reason I'm adopted is because there was Come back for the next part of this discussion.